So the more and more I look at the Conservative leadership contest, the more and more I really realize, and I've been saying this for the past couple of weeks as well, this is Kemi Badenoch's race to win. I think anyone who wants to put any money on it, on anyone else besides Kemi Badenoch, you'd be better burning that money. Quite frankly, it is her race to win. And barring some huge scandal that comes out about her, I do not see how she makes it to the final two. I do not see how she makes it to the final two. I think she has been trying to really, gather allies, prepare for this run, supposedly being backed by Michael Gove in the background, playing puppet master. How true those rumors are, we don't know. But there was at least a rumor last year that they had sort of separated. Who knows? Maybe he's back now, working his magic in the background. There was a lot of stuff going around that's why she didn't make it last time, that Gove was sort of too public to, open about who he was backing when a lot of people were expecting him to run and be in that race. There was a lot of talk, of course, about why he was backing Badenoch, that he wanted to see in the party, like how well these culture war arguments would run within the party. Then, of course, if you may remember, you saw that time Gove went to a Conservative conference and sort of poo-pooed these Conservative cultural arguments and then got booed, and then it made him look like the most sensible person in the room. And for Michael Gove, that's pretty hard to achieve. But it is no doubt in my mind the Conservatives are about to elect Kemi Badenoch as leader. And the Conservatives don't yet realize it. They're about to elect someone also who is really, really bad as a leader. Because one of the things we are constantly hearing, she's not a team player. She does not play well with others, that she likes the spotlight. No, boy, when you are leader, you have to work with others. You have to play nice with everyone else in your party. And one of the things I've constantly said about Kemi Badenoch, she does not have friends. She has frenemies. So we'll be talking more a bit about Badenoch as leader in a bit. But before we do go on into that, please remember to click on the like, share, and subscribe button. And of course, down below, there is my Patreon page. There's the Buy Me Coffee link where you can buy me coffee. There's the YouTube thank you button as well. And of course, there's the Pony Club down below as well. So before we get into this, I have thought about reading this and going through this article this guy had wrote, Yusuf, who had written this for Conservative Home. And as I was just going through it and going through it, I rewatched the video and I'm like, actually, this is really boring. All these arguments are, oh, we lost because we weren't conservative enough. Essentially, most of this guy's article from about here right down to about here is we lost because we weren't conservative enough. And at the moment, that is the most in vogue argument you will hear from many of the Conservatives. That, oh, we just weren't conservative enough. Like, we went too far to the center. And yet, if you really were to look at the analysis of this general election, how did Labour win? Pivoted more to the center. I've said it numerous times. I've shown you the graphs. You look at voting. Are you someone who's on the left? Are you someone who's on the right? Are you in the center? The left is 25%. The right is roughly about 25%. And then the middle is 35%. You go back a couple of years and that 35 was 30. So it's not the left or the right that has grown as people feel their political home is. It's the center, overwhelmingly in the center. And yet this guy is saying, oh no, we need to pivot more. We need to pivot more. We need to go more right wing. We need to win back those reform voters. The more and more you scare off those centrist voters, the more, should we say, the Lib Dems benefit. And of course, this guy ignores the Lib Dems as if they're just just febile opportunists, and don't worry, you know, we'll be able to knock them over with a feather. Yeah, all the pressure, all the attention should be focused on reform. It's reform we've got to beat the next election. How long have we been talking about Conservatives being worried about the threat of reform at a general election? Well, if you go back to, if you go to the general election, well over a year, even before that, they were talking about how much a threat reform had been for quite a while. And of course, worst nightmare turned out to be true. It split the right wing vote. And now this guy wants Kemi Badenoch in because she'll continue business as usual. Like everything this guy lists in this article, all the concerns that he has is, it's just wanting the exact same things that ended up with the Conservative loss. In fact, let me find this piece here, because oh my word, this sums it up so much. Because it just forms it up. On. I know someone quoted him in the comments here. Here it is. Some suggest it is all due to the deep-seated longing for a return to an England lost long ago. For some, perhaps. And then this guy responds, I have never even met anyone who has this so-called deep-seated longing. One of the things that is becoming very much in vogue, as I said, is the argument that they weren't conservative enough, that everyone really is just yearning for conservative leadership. Doesn't look like it. Because if you wanted a really right-wing government, well, why didn't Reform win more seats, or the Conservatives win the general election? Oh, that's right. Conservatives weren't conservative enough, and Reform was just it was just too extreme, too right. They are really trying to sort of ham so much stuff up on this. And then, interesting enough, the actual guy who wrote this article actually responded to this. He said, the point I was trying to make, and I disagree that some do not pine for an England lost, but they use some of the instinctive sense of loss that shouldn't be something either lamentable or lamented. You're right that such criticisms were used unashamedly during to decry the revolt against the establishment over recent years. There lies in the rub. And yet, he actually responded to these people. And I think this really sums up the rest of this article, because we are going to go into another leadership contest. When they start opening, they are going to start offering up so much undeliverable stuff they know that they are not going to deliver on, or not really explaining to people what a lot of these trade-offs are. So he said the electorate are just credulous consumers of snake oil, and that was again in the article as well. Really good view of the electorate, by the way. You can't tell by my sarcasm. Unfortunately, just as some politicians are now peddlers of snake oil, think of the Johnson and cakeism, some of the electorate are very happy consumers of such. An honest politician would say, you can have X, but this is what it will cost you. For example, you can have net zero immigration, but that will mean no more triple lock, reduced health and social care access, longer waits to see your GP, higher and higher taxes on your children and grandchildren, etc. That's the trade off. Are you willing to pay it? Bear in mind, brings up a very good point. Conservative politicians do not talk about the realities of immigration, the benefits it brings to the UK. That because of that, pensioners can keep the triple lock because guess what? Those immigrants pay in tax, which helps provide for that triple lock. They help provide more access to health and social care. And yet there is a lot of people who just want net zero immigration. Well, there's a big trade-off for that. And when you actually talk to people about that trade-off, people actually are quite in favor of immigration. So it's not as popular as some of these people seem to think. But let's finish off this comment. However, as the Trust Sunak leadership contest showed, too many are now willing to believe the undeliverable and impractical now fairy tales and do not want to hear the trade-offs and compromises necessary now in the real world. The author of the article comments a fair comment because he's got nothing to respond to that. Nothing to respond to that. And it's just such a weird article because all he talks about is every single problem that led to the Conservative defeat. We weren't conservative enough. We didn't focus on immigration. We didn't focus on the NHS enough. Well, the NHS, the reason it was in was part of your party's problem. But now they are potentially about to elect Kemi Badenoch. And Kemi Badenoch is not going to be a good leader for them. She is not going to be a good leader for them. She's not a team player. We've seen it many times before. There's a lot of examples where she comes across put under pressure as really, really abrasive, and it does not come across well. It has never come across well, except for a small amount of Conservatives who are very happily put her in and think that that is what the rest of the country wants to see, but it's really not. Does not come across like that. You saw the recent exchange she had with Angela Rayner that comes across almost as very sore loserish, saying, ha ha, you've got to deal with all the problems. We left you. Good luck for that. Really, really strange, really, really weird. But they are allowed to elect Kemi Badenoch, and she's going to be an incredibly bad leader for the Conservatives. And ultimately, there will be another election contest. 2 years, maybe. Should we at this point be saying when Kemi Badenoch gets elected, how long will she last for? I'll be very surprised if she makes it as leader, if she is the leader at the next general election. I think she's going to last 2 years. I really do. I don't think she'll last any more than that. And then we have another leadership contest. But during that time, she's going to do so many gaffes. There's going to be so many explosions, even in interviews, because she's going to be the Conservative leader, and journalists are going to turn around and say, well, your party was responsible for this. Labour's now going to deal with this. What's your criticisms of that? It's your party that caused this problem. Labour's trying to now solve. And when she gets put under pressure, under the spotlight like that, she has not performed very well. She has not responded very well at all. And it's very telling, very, very telling. You have not seen Kemi Badenoch a lot on things like Question Time or even doing the media rounds. That's very, very telling because even they were worried about the reaction she might have. So that's Kemi Badenoch, and they are about to elect her, and I think she's going to turn out to be a very, very bad leader. Very bad leader indeed. And like I say, you're going to witness that. So let me know what you think down below. But as always, thank you very much for watching, and of course, we'll see you all next time.